Ethan, H3H3's crusade to get Hassan, his previous co-host.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Look, I've avoided talking about Ethan this whole time because I just feel like he's like watching a unwell person. It's so weird. Like, it's just like, it's almost like watching Fusi, except he doesn't leave the house. You know? Fusi was like having a mental breakdown, but it's like scary because he's out in like an airport and he's doing scary shit.
No, I think Fusi is a little bit worse than H3H.
No, but I'm saying it's worse because he
Palestine.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one I think. But it's like Fusi leaves the house, and that's why it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Ethan sits at home just like slowly unraveling. It's again, both those things not palatable. I don't like to watch it.
The live streaming era has turned breakdowns into serialized entertainment, and everyone, hosts, fans, commentators, and rivals, plays a part in the theater of collapse. When the BoyBoy channel duo, Vulovic and Apollonov, sat on Twitch and began speaking about Ethan Klein's unraveling, the mood wasn't cruel. It was weary. They weren't laughing at a man losing his composure on camera. They were acknowledging what it feels like to watch someone drift past the limits of irony into something that looks uncomfortably real. The conversation began with hesitation, the kind of cautious empathy that appears when creators discuss another creator's mental state. Both of them, long steeped in the sardonic humor that defines much of YouTube's middle generation, understood that this wasn't about a single opinion or an isolated outburst. Ethan had been spiraling for months, not because of one controversy, but because of the way controversy itself had become the only way left to feel something in a space that rewards outrage and exhaustion equally. In that moment, Vulovic described what countless viewers have felt, watching someone disintegrate in real time, unable to look away. It's not the spectacle of violence or shock that holds people, it's the dread. The sense that something once vital in the cultural bloodstream is turning septic, that what began as comedy or commentary has decayed into an echo chamber of self-destruction. Ethan Klein, for years, had been both the commentator and the commentary, mocking the culture until the culture began mocking him back. Apollonov's comparison to Fauci wasn't cruel. It was a diagnosis. Both men had been internet royalty in their prime. Both found themselves locked inside parasocial loops they could no longer control, and both were living examples of how the modern creator economy blurs the line between identity and performance until breakdown feels like the only honest act left. The only real difference, as Apollonov noted, is geography. Fauci takes his mania to airports, Ethan to his studio. One combusts in public, the other online, but the mechanism is the same. Each is trapped inside a self that no longer fits, performing a version of authenticity that long ago stopped being sustainable. There's a particular cruelty to the way social media metabolizes this kind of suffering. Outrage brings engagement brings income, and income reinforces the behavior that brought the outrage in the first place. The system rewards dysfunction. For someone like Ethan Klein, whose career began as a series of lovingly absurd sketches mocking internet culture, the pivot to a politically charged, hyperreactive format was almost inevitable. Once you learn that attention equals survival, you stop asking what kind of attention it is. Vulovic and Apollonov's tone was that of veterans watching a war they've already fought. Their Twitch chat scrolled by with half memes and half concern, as it always does, the audience unsure whether to laugh or empathize. Both hosts seem to recognize how the algorithm doesn't merely reflect behavior, it shapes it. The more Ethan leaned into provocation, the more the ecosystem demanded escalation. And when the escalation finally tipped into incoherence, rants about geopolitics, contradictions, impulsive tweets, people began to treat it not as content, but as evidence. Evidence of decline, of instability, of something breaking beneath the surface. For a long time, Ethan's fans defended him as the internet's reluctant conscience, a man unafraid to say the things others wouldn't. But as his commentary on Israel and Palestine began drawing ire from every direction, something shifted. His attempts at moral clarity were met with accusations of hypocrisy. His sarcasm, once a form of disarming humor, began to sound brittle. The same audience that had once celebrated his skepticism now used that skepticism against him. He had become the embodiment of the problem he used to critique. Vulovic understood this dynamic instinctively. The internet loves to build fathers only to watch their downfall. Every generation of creators is forced to kill the one before it. That's how the digital ecosystem refreshes itself. Ethan's unraveling wasn't just personal, it was generational. The man who once mocked influencer absurdity was now living inside its most grotesque version. He wasn't creating irony anymore, he was irony. What makes this so painful, and why the BoyBoy duo's commentary struck such a nerve, is that there was no glee in their words. They sounded tired. Watching another creator lose control of his narrative isn't fun anymore. It's frightening because it mirrors a collective anxiety shared by anyone who lives online for too long. When the line between persona and person dissolves, when your mental health becomes a topic of speculation rather than concern, you start to wonder whether there's a way to exist in this space without eventually coming undone. Apollonov, the more introspective of the two, hinted at this. He noted that it's not palatable to watch, neither Ethan's implosion nor Fauci's. There's something unsettling about realizing that the content we consume for entertainment is often indistinguishable from distress. The internet's moral language has flattened so completely that we use the same vocabulary, wild, crazy, insane, to describe both genuine suffering and good marketing. When a streamer collapses on camera, viewers debate whether it's performance art. When a YouTuber disappears, they're accused of chasing clout. The system leaves no room for sincerity because sincerity doesn't trend. The BoyBoy channel has always thrived on irony. Their humor is dry, layered, sometimes impenetrable. But in that Twitch stream, the irony dissolved. There was no punchline in their analysis of Ethan. They were describing the slow erosion of a man who used to define the very platform now consuming him. And yet, they weren't exempt from it. Their own viewership, their own metrics, depend on the same mechanics that have pushed Ethan to the edge. It's easy to dismiss all of this as internet drama, but that's the trap. Drama is the language we use to sanitize discomfort. What's really happening here is more existential. The creator economy has turned people into brands, and brands into psychological traps. Once you learn to perform for survival, stopping feels like death. Every apology becomes content, every controversy becomes a marketing arc, and the self, whatever's left of it, becomes an instrument of production. Ethan's unraveling isn't unique. It's simply more visible because of who he is. The internet rewards emotional extremity. Outrage and breakdown feel more real than stability, and so creators unconsciously gravitate toward them. Fauci does it through manic live streams, Ethan does it through moral grandstanding and public feuds. Different expressions, same pathology, the compulsion to keep the feed alive, no matter the cost. Vulovic and Apollonov's conversation became something more than gossip. It was a meditation on what happens when digital personas outgrow their creators. Sometimes it's two friends on Twitch, laughing softly, wondering if they'll be next.